wouldn't wanna break the act if we walk. Never.
An influential and lengthy walking Southern California punk band with hook-crammed tunes and a snarky sense of humor, NoFx formed in 1983 around a center lineup including Fat Mike, guitarist Eric Melvin, and drummer Eric Sandin. Since debuting in 1988 with Liberal Animation, the band has urged clean of fundamental labels and industrial publicity over their many years-long career, recording an outstanding wide variety of complete-duration albums, consisting of The Gold promoting punk in Drublic and So Long and Thanks for All the Shoes plus a collection of EPs and singles. They issued their 14th studio long-player single album in 2021. The band started out as a trio comprising vocalist, bassist Fat Mike, guitarist Eric Melvin, and drummer Eric Sandin. Sandin stopped in 1985, and his vicinity turned into Taken by using Scott Sellers that same year. NoFx additionally recorded 7 EPs for the Mystic label, NoFx and So What If We're on Mystic. Sellers quit shortly thereafter and become changed by means of Scott Aldall for Simplest Weeks, at which point Sandin rejoined the band. Vocalist Dave Allen additionally joined in 1986, however his tenure turned into tragically reduced quick via a fatal car twist of fate. Dave Casillas joined as a second guitarist later in the year, by which point NoFx visiting agenda had grown to be some distance ranging and rigorous. The EP The PMRC Can Suck On This turned into launched on Fat Mike's own Fat Wreck Chords label in 1987. Casillas departed the organization in 1989 and became replaced by Steve Kidwiller for NoFx's first full-duration album S&M Airlines, which became released on the mythical punk label Epitaph. The band has remained there ever when you consider that regardless of the release of several albums together with 1995's I Heard They Suck Live, and EPs on Fat Wreck Chords which progressively grew right into a premier strong of punk revival artists. Having seemed on 1990's Ribbed and 1991's Liberal Animation, Kidwiller left the band in 1991 and Aaron Abeda became the permanent second guitarist and adopting the nickname El Hefe. Dragged into the mainstream spotlight through the mid-90s achievement of labelmates Bad Religion and The Offspring, NoFx compensated with albums like 1992's White Trash, Two Heaves and a Beam, that had been even towards the anti-business intense exemplified via White Trash's accompanying single Please Play This Song at the Radio, which lured unalert radio programmers with a good melody but ends with a circulation of obscenities. The El Hefe anchored lineup endured to blossom with 1994's Punk in Drublic. Often seen as the band's best, the album became finally licensed gold. Releases on Fat Wreck Chords persevered at some stage in the 90s, as did the full-duration Epitaph albums like 1996's Grungier, much less uptempo Heavy Petting Zoo, 1997's Punkier So Long and Thanks for All the Shoes, and 2000's Pump Up the Volume and Bottles to the Ground. The latter album followed an experimental Fat Wreck Chords EP titled The Decline, which consisted entirely of the 18-minute title track. Next up turned into the Surfer EP, which showcased pick-out sloppy cuts in spring 2001 with the first 500 copies on colored vinyl. In 2002 NoFx sifted through limitless tapes and recording classes, subsequently collecting 47 songs for 45 or 46 songs that weren't good enough to go on our other records. Pimps and Hookers, which turned into the most effective new track at the album, was recorded in one day. Later that 12 months, BYO Records got the band to launch the NoFx and Rancid split album BYO Split Series Volume 3. This specific document had Rancid masking 6 NoFx tracks, even as NoFx again the desire through switching up 6 Rancid songs. The 4-song EP Regaining Unconsciousness came out in March 2003 and served as a teaser for Maze the War on Errorism and released on Fat Wreck and Suffering from Political Criticisms. Given the band's outspoken and leftist nature, it became now not sudden after they released Punk Voter, a movement of punk bands that sought to politically empower disenfranchised young people and vote George W. Bush out of office. The organization remained in action even after Bush's 2004 re-election. Back at the song The Front, NoFx subsequent launched the EP Never Trust a Hippie in March 2006, the whole period Wolf in Wolf's Clothing 1 month later, and the live album They've Actually Gotten Worse live the subsequent year. The band's 11th studio album, Coaster, arrived in 2009, paired with a documentary of the band's worldwide 2008 tour in the form of the Fuse Network's series Backstage Passport. In 2012, NoFx presented up an extra self-conscious set of songs on their 12th studio album self-entitled. A variety of singles observed, and were collected on 2013's Stoke Extinguisher, which featured a new music as well as the B-facets from the preceding year's 7 releases. Fat Mike spent lots of 2014 writing songs for a punk rock musical entitled Home Street Home. Along with the rest of NoFx, he collaborated with participants of Alkaline Trio, Dancehall Crashers, The Living End, and even Tony Award-winning vocalist Lena Hall on the soundtrack, which arrived in early 2015 as the very last touches had been put on the theatrical production. NoFx released The Warts and All autobiography The Hepatitis Bathtub and Other Stories in 2016, at the same time as also announcing the release of their 13th studio album First Ditch Effort. Arriving in October, the file became preceded through the more difficult-edged single, 6 Years on Dope, which documented Fat Mike's troubles with substance abuse and his subsequent cleanup. In 2018, after relationship controversy for comments made approximately the 2017 Las Vegas Mass taking pictures, NoFx have been pulled from pageant slots and cancelled their US excursion. Their ribbed Live in a Dive arrived that August. In March 2020, whilst quarantining throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, the group began sharing a sequence of songs from an imminent album they planned on liberating in the fall. These Stand on My Own tracks included topical songs like Just the Flu, I Love You More Than I Hate Me, and Real to the band's irreverent man or woman Thatcher Fucked the Kids. The resulting single album was launched in early 2021.
Come back.